My Odyssey NFL insider, Brian Baldinger. He's the host of the Best Football Show podcast. Make sure to check out the Best Football Show on the Odyssey app, which is free, or wherever you get your podcast. Brian Baldinger joins us right now. Hello, Baldy.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing wonderful. I know you're making your tours and you're making your rounds of all the teams, and it's Hall of Fame weekend, so this is usually when the national media descends upon Cleveland. As of right now, are the Browns making a major mistake if they start anybody but Joe Flacco week one?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Joe is the most qualified. He's won games for Cleveland. Forget about his age. The arm is just as good as ever. He's in great shape, and he understands what he's doing out there right now. I don't think there's any rush. I mean, I don't know what Kenny's status is with his hamstring. And I haven't seen the rookies play yet, but I would think that it would behoove the Browns to win week one if their best chance to win is, I think, with Joe right now.
Okay, that's fine, Baldy, and we respect your football acumen. 9-9 yesterday, Shedeur Sanders. 9 of 9. I mean, come on. 9-9.
Yeah, all right. We're charting these practices now.
Now, two touchdowns.
Honestly, I see this stuff. Like, I know you're tongue-in-cheek here with this thing, but, I mean, I do see these people that think, like, this is, like, I don't know, like, this is how you're winning the job on September 7th is by what you do here, in a practice session. Like, it's just not really the way it is.
You know, we joked, we had John Greco on earlier, and we like to bring on the football guys, the guys in the trenches. And he said, he used to laugh about that. Guys talking about, especially like first day of pads. And you've got, the people, the consumers, they want to know this stuff. They want to know how many completions, how many touchdowns, but the people that actually played the game, the circumstances, they can certainly dictate things. In Pittsburgh, they're talking about how Big Ben used to throw interceptions intentionally to either show up receivers or whatever. So what can we take away? What should we be looking for when we're watching these quarterbacks operate?
Well, I mean, you're looking for completions. I mean, I'm not undermining, the stat yesterday, but you're looking for completions. You're looking for command. You're looking for growth. You're looking for, does he get to a second read when Jerry Jeudy isn't open on the first read? Can he get to Cedric Tillman? Whatever. I mean, you're just looking for growth within the offense. Now, some of these drills, the offense, the defense is coming after you, and sometimes, Myles Garrett is, saving it for something a little bit more important. So, I mean, I do think you have to kind of temper the enthusiasm, but you're looking for growth. You're looking for, like in any position. When I first started out as a rookie, free agent, I mean, I couldn't block Randy White the first 2 weeks of practice. But when I did block him in the third week, I went out and partied my ass off. I felt like I was getting better. I could stop the best defensive tackle in football. So you're just looking for growth. Sometimes it's minuscule. Sometimes it's just the way that you get the verbiage out of your mouth on an audible call. Sometimes it's identifying a particular defense and what they're doing. There's so many different ways that we can't really see. But, the quarterback rooms, the guys in the huddle, they can see it, and they know when it's going on.
Brian Baldinger joining us on the show. There's been a lot of, when you have four guys competing for a quarterback job, allegedly, I really think it was Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco maybe competing for the starting job, and then who's going to be the primary backup after that. You get a lot of crazy scenarios thrown out there. One of those scenarios was trading Dillon Gabriel, a third-round pick, or Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round pick. If you're the Browns, I don't think anybody's going to offer you something crazy for either one of these guys. Would you ever entertain trading either one of these guys? I mean, what does it hurt to keep them there to see whether or not one of them has it, especially a guy like maybe Shedeur, who a lot of people feeling his ceiling is going to be very high?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade him. I mean, you just drafted him. You don't know what you have yet. I mean, you haven't played a game yet. I wouldn't trade either one of them. But they also knew that when they drafted these guys and they traded for Kenny Pickett and they brought Joe back, they knew it was going to be a crowded quarterback room. And we all knew when they went to camp with four quarterbacks like this, that the reps were, it wasn't going to favor anybody in trying to win a job right now, just because it's so limited with basically one practice a day, if you get that, and just 3 preseason games. It's not going to be a substantial, amount of work for anyone. And you really want to make the evaluation, when Batonio and Keller and, the whole offense line is out there. And so it's very limited. It's very difficult, but I would not trade either one of them right now. I'd like to see them in some game action to see what they look like.
Brian Baldinger with us. So Kevin Stefanski has evolved the offense depending on who the quarterback has been. We've seen it change up in season. When Flacco came in a couple of years ago, helped them get to the playoffs. Then it was Deshaun Watson. It changed again. Now it's evolved again, depending on who wins this battle. So how difficult is that in terms of an evaluation? Because, yesterday I'm seeing a lot of short passes, mostly from the team, but yet, we as fans, we want to see guys that have a ceiling. We want to see guys take chances and throw the ball down the field.
Well, that's how ultimately you're going to beat Baltimore or Pittsburgh or Cincinnati with, their ability to score points, especially Cincinnati and Baltimore. So, you got to be able to put points up, and points come out of the offense with explosive plays. So you got to take your shots. But that's kind of how the offense is. I think you're going to go back to, running the football and play action passes off of it. And that plays to Joe's strength, ability to read the defense on those deep drops, and the offense line giving them time to take the shots to Jerry Jeudy and the group going down the field. So, those are going to come. They're not the highest percentage of throws. The shorter passes, the plays in the middle of the field are the better percentage, but you're going to have to take your shots if you're going to compete in this division right now.
How much for a guy like Kevin Stefanski, he's 6 years in, he's been with some of these vets all 6 years, how much does their opinion weigh into when a rookie would get to play or when a younger quarterback would get to play like Kenny Pickett?
I think Kevin is a smart guy. He's been handed a pretty difficult hand here, but, he's been a good coordinator. He's been a good play caller. It's a lot to ask right now from Kevin, but I think he has a plan about how he's going to go about getting these guys a certain amount of reps to really make some, deeper evaluations about who could be the backup. Because I think Joe is the starter. So who's going to be the backup to Joe? And how long is Joe the starter? If they get off to a rough start, does it make any sense to play Joe if, it looks like you're not going to have a winning season. You're not going to be very competitive. You might as well put some of those guys in. Those are decisions that get made maybe in October. And so for right now, it's about making sure you get the right evaluation for the guy that's going to be the next man up, because that guy is always one play away.
Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger joining us on the show. Do you find Kevin Stefanski to be a top half NFL head coach?
Yeah, I like Kevin. I like Kevin a lot. He's gotten to the playoffs, twice now. It's not, they've had difficulty, obviously, at the quarterback position. Nobody has juggled more quarterbacks than Kevin. He looked a lot better as a play caller when Kirk Cousins lined up every single day in Minnesota as the quarterback, and they won a lot of games. But I would say that he's in the upper half. I think he's got a command of the team. I think they respond to him. And for those kind of things, he's got some stability because of it.
It's unfortunate, Baldy, what's happened at the start of camp, the running back position. You've had an injury, and then you've had a player not signed yet who unfortunately is dealing with some legal issues in Florida with Quinshon Judkins. Now, he was taken 36 overall. First of all, how big of a blow is it for him not to be there now? And does it matter whether he's a running back, whether he's a tight end, a quarterback? Do you think it matters, depending on the position, on how much they'll be behind?
Well, he's going to be behind. It's very unfortunate, but it's the reality. And so you have to deal with it. But I would say if there's one position that you can get up to speed quicker than any other position on the field, is the running back position. So much of that is just instincts and vision, and it looks like Quinshon has all of those abilities. That's kind of the sweet spot of the draft for running backs, top of the second round. That's where he was. So, look, I think I'm not going to say you're going to plug and play him whenever he gets this legal matter handled. and we'll see the fallout of that. But I would say, if there's one position you can get them on the field the quickest and count on some production, it's the running back position.
What does the success look like if Aaron Rodgers works out in Pittsburgh? Do you think he'll work out in Pittsburgh?
I think he's got a good chance. I thought that he struggled last year, but he was banged up for much of the year, especially to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the most penalized team in football last year. I mean, they had the ball on the 1 yard line against Denver in week 4, and they couldn't score. And all they needed was a touchdown to win the game. They were so heavily penalized. I don't think you're going to get that in a Mike Tomlin coach team. So I think the stability that every quarterback really requires to be successful, he's going to get that. He's got a star X receiver that I think is going to get a lot of targets in DK. I think he's going to fall in love with his 6'7" tight end, Darnell Washington. And if the line, comes together, they've been working on it for 3 years now, trying to get this thing together. If it comes together, I think he's got a chance for some success. But watching him last year, I mean, he was not great at the end of games when you needed Aaron to be great. He looked like a 40-year-old quarterback for a lot of the season last year. I know he finished strong, but I mean, I think you have to, if you're evaluating Aaron, and I'm going to see him tomorrow in Latrobe, but if you're evaluating him right now, you got to think and you got to play against him in game plan. You got to think you're going to get the best of Aaron Rodgers and not a broken down 41-year-old quarterback. You got to think that the arm is going to be elite, decision making is going to be elite, and that's how you have to game plan it right now.
You had a chance to talk to Lamar Jackson as part of your coverage recently. When you are at Baltimore, obviously they are looking at getting through in the playoffs and having Lamar play at a different level in the postseason. Do you think it changes anytime soon with them, or do you think they'll just continue to be a great regular season team? He'll be a great regular season quarterback, but come postseason, there's still some issues.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I mean, I know they've lost in the postseason. I mean, Mark Andrews catches the ball at the goal line, they probably win that game, and they march on. They beat Buffalo. Those things happen. But I think he just is an improving player. He's 28 years old. I mean, Peyton Manning won his Super Bowl when he was 31. I mean, you look through the list of guys who won Super Bowls and what their age was sometimes. Sometimes you just got to keep chopping wood. I mean, Lamar is not going to regress. He's not going backwards. The guy's only improving. Nobody sees the field on the dead run better than him in this business. And so, you throw 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and run for about 1,000 yards. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. And I think in the third year of Todd Monken's system and what T. Martin is helping him do at the quarterback position as his coach, I think he's just going to improve. And he is a hungry man, not just to win a Super Bowl, but to win multiple Super Bowls. I mean, that's how he's wired. So I got to think that you're going to see an improved play in the postseason. There was a time they get to the postseason, he was injured. Now he seems to have gotten over all of that. And I think the better days are in front of him.
Brian Baldinger joining us here on the hotline. Brian, does it bother you what guys who didn't play at a high level have said about Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? Are they just the victims of playing in the same generation as Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I mean, there was always, there was Tom Brady before that, and there was, Troy Aikman and guys that won a lot of Super Bowls. But fortunately or unfortunately, all quarterbacks get measured by how they play in the postseason. Peyton Manning was basically in that same category of Josh and Lamar until he won a Super Bowl. He didn't win a national championship at Tennessee. T. Martin did. I mean, that's what they said about Peyton. And he walked into the Hall of Fame. So all quarterbacks, get scrutinized a little bit differently. But until Josh and Lamar actually win a Super Bowl the way Jalen Hurts just did this year. Look, Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl this year, and people can't figure out how to put him in the top 10 as, quarterbacks in this league. And all he does is win. So, I mean, everybody's going to be scrutinized different, and that's just part of the territory and part of the position and part of, making elite money in this business right now.
It seems like in many ways, Baldy, that the NFL has become the NBA. Only seems like I hear about 4 or 5 teams that everybody references that can win the Super Bowl. Is there a team outside of the normal ones that everybody talks about that you think we are all overlooking?
Well, I think you'd be crazy if you're overlooking Washington. I think you'd be crazy if you're overlooking Tampa.
Tampa. Oh boy. Baker plays.
I mean,
Tampa.
you'd just be crazy. I mean, all they've done is win the division 4 years in a row. And, Baker just had one of the top 10. I know you don't want to hear this in Cleveland, but, there's only 10 quarterbacks in the history of this game that did what Baker did last year. Throw for over 40 touchdowns and 4,500 yards. And he's got, when his left tackle gets back, it's a big blow to that team right now, but he will be back, Tristan Wirfs. He's a guy that can line up with Miles, and go toe-to-toe without help and do, probably as good as anybody else, be able to handle Miles one-on-one. So, and he is the difference maker at that position. But, I think that Tampa is, they've improved their defense with what they did in the draft, and they ran the ball great last year, something they weren't able to do when Tom Brady was the quarterback and winning a Super Bowl. So I think that's just an improving team right now.
Brian, we can't thank you enough for the time. We know you're busy as hell with all the training camp stuff going on. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to watching you on NFL Network. Yeah. Take care.
All right. You bet, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Brian Baldinger joining us. Odyssey NFL Insider Brian Baldinger, host of the Best Football Show podcast. Make sure to check out the Best Football Show on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.